Proverbs 3 tells us to trust in the Lord with all of our heart, lean not to our own understanding, in all of our ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make straight our paths. You know, last night when we were talking about Jonah, one of the things that we considered with him was when he was asked of God to do one of the greatest acts of outreach, of witness, of probably transformation that a people could have seen. He rejected what God had asked of him to go the opposite direction. He completely relied upon himself because his circumstances in that situation would have been difficult. And sometimes the circumstances in our lives may be stacked against us. Our circumstances may be completely outside of our control. And because of that, we try to take and regain those odds in our favor by taking control, by doing what we can, maybe running the opposite direction, doing something that we can control in those moments. And Jonah tried that within his own life. And in those moments, what we see is the storms around him and everything didn't quite go according to his plan. And what began to unfold was something that Jonah had to do was submit to the circumstance, submit to the call that God had placed on his life. And we see in Proverbs 3, what it says is to trust in the Lord with all of our heart, lean not to our own understanding, to believe that God knows what is best, even in our circumstances, and surrender to the things that God has for us, surrender to His will and not our own. And to do that requires a denial of things that maybe our own idols, maybe our very selves, or things that maybe we've never identified in our lives before. Jesus says, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily. They must be willing to reject their own self and say that He is most important. So today that I look in my own life and I examine, is it easier to sometimes take control and say, hey, I want to be the one to have the will and take the driver's seat on things? Absolutely. But God most of all wants to direct my life and make straight the paths before.